Good morning, everybody. Okay, first of all, let's say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His mercy and blessing, we can attend in this event without any obstacles at all and with healthy condition. Praises and salutation be upon to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, to his household, his companions, and his faithful followers who strive in Allah's religion of Islam. The Honorable Chairman and Chairwoman of Bhakti Tunasusada Foundation, the Honorable Rector of Bhakti Tunasusada University Tasikmalaya, and the Honorable all lecturers and staff in Bhakti Tunasusada University, and the Honorable all my beloved audience. Ladies and gentlemen, before we come to the main session, let us start this event by praying first, so that the event that we hold today will run well without any obstacles at all. Pray based on individual belief begins. Pray done. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in this nice occasion, let me deliver the structure of this event today as follows. First, opening. Second, speech from Chairman of Bhakti Tunasusada Foundation. Third, speech from the Rector of Bhakti Tunasusada University Tasikmalaya. Fourth, general lecture which will be delivered by Mr. Paul Lekwilung. Fifth, question and answer, and the last closing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's open this event by saying Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now we will invite Mr. Haji Yoris Rusamsi SH MH as the Chairman of Bhakti Tunasusada Foundation to deliver a speech. Time and place are yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang saya hormati Bapak Paul Frederick Likwilung, yang saya hormati Ibu Ketua Yayasan U-BTH, yang saya hormati Ibu Rektor Universitas U-BTH, yang saya hormati para dosen dan mahasiswa peserta kegiatan kuliah Pakar, dan juga para undangan yang tidak bisa saya sebutkan satu persatu. Kita panjatkan puji syukur kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala bahwa pada hari ini kita bisa mengadakan satu kegiatan yang sangat bermanfaat, kegiatan kuliah Pakar yang insya Allah akan diisi oleh Bapak Paul Frederick Likwilung dengan tema Academic Way of Thinking. Sebetulnya saya sudah ketemu, mudah-mudahan Pak Paul sudah bergabung. Jadi kepada para peserta, rencananya memang Pak Paul ini akan datang, tetapi karena ada satu dan lain hal yang memang saya bisa pahami, sangat menjadi pertimbangan, akhirnya beliau tidak bisa ke Tasikmalaya. Tapi alhamdulillah Pak Paul sempat berdiskusi dengan saya selama kurang lebih 2 jam di Jakarta. Pak Paul ini sedikit saya sampaikan, mungkin Bapak Ibu, bahwa kegiatan yang kita lakukan ini adalah satu kegiatan yang terarah dan terencana dalam rangka merelasikan visi Universitas U-BTH, yaitu menjadi universitas yang unggul dan inovatif dalam bidang kesehatan, teknologi, bisnis, serta berdaya saing global. Nah, ini mungkin ada yang yang perlu satu perencanaan jangka panjang adalah berdaya saing global. Jadi berdaya saing global itu bukan satu proses yang bisa sebentar. Maka alhamdulillah dengan visi tadi kita sudah mulai melakukan langkah-langkah tersebut, dan qadarullah kita harus bersyukur kepada Allah bahwa di BTH ini salah satu anggota Senat Kehormatan adalah ada Profesor Agus Setiabudi yang membersamai kita pada saat perubahan menuju universitas, dan juga pada saat sekarang beliau menjadi atase pendidikan dan kebudayaan di Belanda. Nah, ini juga keberadaan Pak Paul dalam memberikan sharing ini itu adalah tidak lepas dari satu rencana dan komitmen Profesor Agus Setiabudi untuk Universitas BTH. Jadi Profesor Agus ini selalu membawa Universitas BTH kemanapun juga. Nah, kalau kita ingin membangun global networking, di mana salah satunya memang dengan berbagai upaya akademis, maka memang kita butuh satu cara dan sarana. Nah, tadi kita bersyukur kepada Allah bahwa Profesor Agus yang punya komitmen besar membawa terus Universitas BTH, termasuk dalam satu kegiatan dengan Pak Paul. Jadi ceritanya Pak Paul ini bertemu dengan Prof Agus itu. Nah, Pak Paul ini adalah sebetulnya beliau ini memang pakar kesehatan, tetapi juga seorang sosial volunteer gitu ya kan, yang punya kepedulian terhadap Indonesia. Karena memang Profesor Agus itu di bidang bidang pendidikan dan kebudayaan, maka pada saat itu terjadi komunikasi, dan alhamdulillah Pak Paul menyampaikan keinginan untuk berbagi, dan akhirnya saat ini bisa terrealisasi. Nah, selain program Pak Paul, rupanya Prof Agus itu sudah merancang ke depan. Jadi kemarin sebelum kita mau acara ini saya konsultasi juga ke Prof Agus. Mungkin Bapak Ibu kemarin ada webinar terkait dengan kerjasama dengan Belanda, ya kan? Ada yang ikut kan? Ya. Sebetulnya itu hanya universitas tertentu dan undangan. Yang kebanyakan kan ada ITB, UI, ataupun universitas swasta yang sudah cukup besar, kayak BINUS, Telkom, ya kan? Sampai-sampai kata Prof Agus, pada saat muncul nama BTH, Pak Dubes itu bertanya sama Pak Agus, ini Universitas BTH mana? Gitu. Dari mana? Dari entah berantah gitu. Mungkin beliau ini. Terus Prof Agus bilang, Pak, ini universitas binaan saya. Nah, udah. Kalau sudah begitu maka ada pengecualian. Nah, kemarin itu ada klaster yang atas dulu. Maksudnya gini, mungkin untuk klaster di UI, ITB untuk kerjasama. Prof Agus bilang, untuk BTH kita akan tindak lanjut dengan kerjasama lanjutan yang akan sesuaikan di bidang kesehatan, teknologi. Mungkin di bulan Maret, di bulan apa. Nah, jadi nampak apa yang akan kita lakukan, termasuk dengan Pak Paul. Jadi kemarin saya sudah diskusi dengan Pak Paul panjang lebar, dan satu kata kunci dari Pak Paul, Pak Yoris. Kebetulan Pak Paul ini sampai SMA di Indonesia. Setelah itu ngambil kedokteran di Belanda dan hidup di Belanda. Bahasa Indonesia masih bisa, kadang-kadang campur bahasa Inggris gitu ya. Jadi mengerti kalau mendengar bahasa Indonesia, tapi mungkin menyampaikan nanti dalam bahasa Inggris. Tapi kata Pak Paul, kalau ada yang mau bertanya pakai bahasa Indonesia nggak apa-apa gitu, saya masih bisa mengerti. Nah, dari apa yang disampaikan oleh Pak Paul menyampaikan kepada kami, kepada saya, Pak Yoris, yang saya lakukan itu bukan sesuatu yang short term. Saya ingin bahwa ini adalah sesuatu yang long term. Kalau hanya menyampaikan kuliah pakar, habis itu selesai, itu percuma Pak Yoris. Yang bisa kita lakukan adalah long term. Kita bisa nanti melakukan pertemuan rutin. Apa yang bisa kita lakukan kerjasama. Jadi Pak Paul punya networking bukan hanya di bidang kesehatan. Nah oleh karena itu sangat menarik. Saya banyak belajar dan Pak Paul sudah bergabung. Selamat bergabung Pak Paul, selamat pagi. Semoga sehat. Alhamdulillah, terima kasih. Dan saya kemarin ditunjukkan satu buku yang luar biasa bagus. Saya share juga, Death by Convert. Jadi memang ada buku baru lah yang memang udah dipesan untuk universitas kita nanti baca. Saya banyak berpikir atau entah bagaimana, saya bukan orang kesehatan, saat Pak Paul menjelaskan tentang kesehatan dan perkembangannya sangat menarik. Oleh karena itu terima kasih Pak Paul sudah bergabung. Saya tidak panjang lebar lagi. Selamat datang di Indonesia. Selamat menikmati kenangan masa lalu di Indonesia. Semoga satu saat Pak Paul bisa ke Tasikmalaya. Kata Pak Paul, Pak Yoris, kita atur yang lebih khusus, yang lebih panjang lagi. Karena sebetulnya saya acaranya itu memang dalam rangka family sebetulnya gitu. Jadi beliau menyampaikan permohonan maaf, tetapi alhamdulillah luar biasa. Kata Pak Paul, yang pertama kita butuhkan itu ada fine tuning dulu Pak Yoris. Saya ada wakil dari BTH, dengan saya ketemu, kalau frekuensinya sudah ketemu itu lebih enak Pak Yoris. Gitu kesimpulan yang saya dapatkan dari diskusi kemarin. Mungkin itu saja sedikit uraian dari saya. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu dosen atas kehadirannya dan juga para mahasiswa yang hadir secara online. Saya kembalikan kepada pembawa acara. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks to Mr. Hajah Yoris Susansi, SHMA, to deliver a speech. And now we will invite Mrs. Hajah Anggat Nuliawati, SKPMK, to deliver a speech. Time and place are yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang terhormat Ketua Pembina Yayasan Bakti Tunasusada Tasikmalaya, yang terhormat Ketua Pengurus Yayasan Bakti Tunasusada beserta jajarannya, yang terhormat narasumber kita Prof. Liquidlang, yang terhormat Direktur Rumah Sakit Wilayah Kota Tasikmalaya atau yang mewakili, yang terhormat Kepala Dinas Kesehatan Kota Tasikmalaya atau yang mewakili, yang terhormat Kepala Puskesmas Kota Wilayah Kota Tasikmalaya, seluruh sivitas akademika Universitas Bakti Tunasusada. Dengan segala kerendahan hati, marilah kita senantiasa mengucapkan syukur kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, yang mana sudah memberikan nikmat iman, nikmat Islam, dan nikmat sehat, sehingga kita bisa menghadiri acara ini dalam kondisi sehat walafiat. Tidak lupa sholawat serta salam kita limpah curahkan kepada junjungan kita Nabi besar Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Hadirin yang berbahagia, pada kesempatan ini kami menyampaikan ucapan selamat datang, selamat kenal, dan selamat dari seluruh sivitas akademika Universitas BTH, dan mengucapkan terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya kepada Profesor Liquidlang di tengah-tengah kesibukannya. Alhamdulillah sudah berkenan menjadi narasumber dalam kuliah pakar pada pagi hari ini. Sebagai kuliah pakar pada pagi hari ini adalah rangkaian dari kegiatan DS Natalis yang pertama di Universitas BTH ini. Ya, semoga kerjasama ini bisa berlanjut pada waktu yang tepat, Profesor juga bisa datang ke kampus BTH Tasikmalaya. Ya. Kami pun menghaturkan banyak terima kasih kepada para tamu undangan, seluruh sivitas akademika, baik dosen, mahasiswi dan yang lainnya yang sudah hadir dengan penuh antusias untuk menghadiri kuliah pakar ini, yang semoga kehadiran semuanya akan membawakan keberkahan kepada kita semuanya. Hadirin yang berbahagia, pada 15 Desember 2021 ini yang lalu merupakan tonggak sejarah baru untuk BTH, karena pada tanggal tersebut merupakan waktu perubahan status kelembagaan dari sekolah tinggi menjadi Universitas BTH. Jadi pada saat ini Universitas merayakan dies Natalisnya yang pertama sebagai rasa syukur kami atas anugerah yang sudah kami terima atas perubahan bentuk dari sekolah tinggi menjadi universitas ini. Sehingga pada prinsipnya kami sebetulnya perguruan tinggi bukan yang pertama, bukan tahun pertama, tetapi sudah 29 tahun mengelola perguruan tinggi ini. Ya, dimulai dari akademi, berubah menjadi stikes, dan saat ini sudah menjadi universitas. Pada perubahan kelembagaan yang sudah terjadi tentunya harus diiringi juga dengan perubahan-perubahan yang lainnya. Karena pada prinsipnya ada dua hal pokok atau di dalam perubahan organisasi, yaitu perubahan perangkat keras organisasi atau hard system skill dan perubahan perangkat lunak organisasi atau soft system stool. Salah satu contoh dari perubahan soft system stool adalah perilaku atau yang didasari dengan pola pikir. Nah, karena kita ada dalam lingkungan akademik, maka bagaimana cara membangun berpikir akademik sehingga dalam menciptakan suasana akademik di lingkungan kita. Untuk itu, marilah kita mendengarkan dan menyimak penjelasan dari narasumber kita, penjelasan tentang academic way of thinking. Semoga setelah mendapatkan ilmunya, kita dapat melaksanakan dan dapat merubah suasana akademik di Universitas BTH ini ke arah yang lebih baik lagi untuk mencapai visi, yaitu menjadi universitas yang unggul dan inovatif dalam kesehatan, bisnis, serta berdaya saing secara global. Untuk itu marilah kita bersama-sama menyimak penjelasan dari Profesor Kuliah dengan berniat ibadah mencari ilmu. Semoga Allah memberikan kemudahan untuk memahaminya dan dapat keberkahan dari ilmunya. Demikian sambutan yang saya sampaikan. Terima kasih atas perhatiannya. Mohon maaf apabila ada kata-kata yang kurang berkenan. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks to Mrs. Haja Natalis KPMK for her speech. And now, my beloved audience, we come to the main session, that is expert lecture, which will be delivered by Mr. Paulik Wilu. But before we enter the topic, let me introduce myself. My name is Anissa Nurhasana. And now I will be your moderator, and let me deliver your biography to the audience. Full name, P.F. Likwilung, I apologize if I'm wrong to spell. Live in Cleveland, 18 December, Netherlands. Marital status, has married with 4 children. And he was born at August 19 in 1950. And he was school at Seniors High School 2 at Purwokerto, Central Java, Indonesia. And in 1979, graduated from medical degree course at University of Leiden. At 1987, registered in the Specialist of Surgery. In 2021, as revalidation for general surgery. And his professional experience in 2022 in pathology surgeon at Polyclinic de Blaak, Rotterdam. Okay, actually he has more experience that I can spell one by one, because this is time for our great speaker to give the material about academic way of thinking. I'll give the time to Mr. Paul to give the presentations about 1 hour, and then we will continue 30 minutes to discuss question and answer. So to Mr. Paul, now this is time for you to give the material. Time and place are yours.
Terima kasih banyak.
Ya, sama-sama.
Let me try to share the screen first, if you may.
We have to see your screen before.
Yes.
Sudah kelihatan tadi Pak untuk materinya.
Ini bisa melihat screen itu. Can you see my
Ya,
my slides?
bisa Pak.
Yeah.
Mungkin bisa di slideshow.
Sebentar ya.
Iya, baik Pak.
Ini bukan komputer saya.
Sebelah kanan lagi Pak. Iya.
Ini ya.
Sebelah kanan satu lagi.
Satu.
Nah, iya itu. Ya,
Oke.
baik. Sudah kami lihat Pak untuk materinya.
How is the sound? Can you hear me?
We can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
let's start.
First of all, I would thank Pak Joris for his very kind introduction. And saya minta maaf karena bahasa saya Indonesianya sedikit tidak begitu lancar lagi. Saya akan bicara dalam bahasa Inggris.
Okay, it's okay.
Pak Joris has told you that I can take questions in Indonesia. So, dear honorable guest, Dean of the Faculty, ladies and gentlemen, and beloved audience. First of all, I will thank you for the given opportunity to speak some words to you. Indeed, it fills me very humble. I would especially thank Bapak Joris for that. With your permission, I would like to introduce myself because, of course, you have never heard of me before, and I can imagine that you think, what is this man doing here? As you have already mentioned, my name is Paul Liquilum, but it's easier to call me by my first name, and that is Paul. After all, what is in a name? Yeah, I quote Shakespeare. I was born on 19 July 1950, a long time ago in Leiden, Netherlands. I married during 30 years with my wife, the same wife. She is a pediatrician and a member of board of a hospital in Netherlands who has 700 beds, and it is for Netherlands a big hospital. I have 3 children. The oldest is 30. She's done her PhD in Paris, and she is now doing a postdoc research in Cambridge, UK. The second is a son. He has finished a double master in TU Delft. As you mentioned, TU Delft has some connection with ITB in physics and geophysics, and he's now doing a PhD in Melbourne, Australia. And the youngest is also a daughter, and she is studying in, she's doing her master now in Delft, and she studied medical technology. That is something new, and that is a link between the medical education and the technicians. My parents went back to Indonesia when I was still 1 year old. So that is very young, and my father accepted occupation and worked as a doctor in the RSU, the Rumah Sakit Umum in Purwokerto. Gynecology and obstetrics has his special attention. And I can remember that he has educated a lot of midwives, that is bidan. I remember that a good colleague of him and a friend of our family would like him to go back to the Netherlands to become a member of the staff of the university in Utrecht. That's a city in the middle of the Netherlands. Later on, after I finished my surgical training in Groningen, he have called me and invited me to visit him at the university in Utrecht. Well, it turns out that he not only became a professor in gynecology and obstetric at the university, but also he served the royal Dutch family. And that is a special and very honorable task. Well, where I'm sitting in front of him, he tells me how he used to wash my diapers, and that is a popok, when I was a little child, at my mom's request in Purwokerto. Of course, I can remember it now, but I feel so embarrassed. And then, suddenly, from his desk drawer, he proudly conjured an old publication that he has done with my father, and it's about the lower uterus incision during cesarean section. The doctors under you will understand what it is, and the series is based on patients from Purwokerto. And now I believe it is the procedure of choice in the Netherlands. He told me that he still feels regretted that my father was not willing to follow his advice. But he also told me he can understand that my father's heart was committed to Purwokerto and his patients there. It was a big surprise. It was a moment of deep feelings, and I could not able to manage that my eyes cried. Unfortunately, my father died unexpectedly too young at the age of 44, very young, just a week before I departed to Netherlands. But till now, I and my brother, who lives in Jakarta, Bintaro, who two ones left from the family, I remember him as a good, remarkable, and very intelligent, and above all, a very special and very social person. I can't remember that he refused to help any patients, and certainly not because they could not pay him. For me, he is like Robin Hood, if you know the character, giving to the poor and steal from the rich. The most important thing is that I spent my whole youth, particularly in Purwokerto, Indonesia. That is not far away from Tasikmalaya, as you know, and actually I did my education from SD until my passed in SMA in 1968. After that, I went to University in Netherlands, in Leiden, to study medicine and eventually become a surgeon with specialization and registration in the vascular and trauma surgery. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you got the impression that I was a stranger from the outside, I can assure you that the Kachung from Purwokerto is still inside me. It's therefore my obligation in honor and memory of him, if there will come a possibility to contribute to my Indonesian friends, to educate, then I have to take it and to do it. So that was the past, but I can assure you, why do I told this? Because nobody with no history has a future. Right? There is no history. If you have no history, you have also no future. What is the actual situation now? A few months ago, as the president, as the function of president, I'm the present president of the Rotary Interland Commission Nederland-Indonesia, who organized meeting the Indonesia Day once in 2 years. I have the privilege to meet your ambassador, Mr. Mayer Vos, and the attaché, Mr. Professor Agustia Budi. And that was the start and the beginning to explore possibilities to start a collaboration depending on the needs, on the mutual needs and based on mutual respect for every party. That was the task that leads me to this visit that could be done in combination with what already planned, a visit to my beloved family and, of course, my former Tanah Air. And maybe this is the moment that I'm waiting for. Unfortunately, the Gempa Bumi Garut a few days ago make me decided to turn the live visit to a video conference. And I hope that one day I will be live with you. So dear audience, in the beginning, there was never intention to give a lecture and especially not playing the Mr. Wise guy. The diversity and different level of knowledge of the audience that I understand from Pak Joris make a lecture talk in the depth on a special topic, as you wish, very difficult and impossible. Nevertheless, with your kind permission, we can try to talk about how one may expect from an academic person to think and solve problems and questions in general. That is also what the teachers structurally have to learn, the students. Academic thinking is not learning, is rather a learning a mindset than learning facts as we learned at high school. It all must begin with curiosity, ambition, and passion that eventually lead to research, investigation, analysis, understanding, proving, and last but not least, to share the knowledge through publication. You have to learn to collaborate, working together, join forces, but never take anything for granted. That is my belief. We should teach our students to become academic scientists. Let me try to illustrate this by a practical example. And let's do it by an interactive way. Why? Because I can learn a lot from you too. I now try to open the example, excuse me for that. Because I'm a doctor, with your permission, I like to give an example in a medical situation. Let's look at this wound with a scar eventually. What can you learn about it? If a patient comes with such thing, and as a doctor, I need some help because I've got this condition. One can say, it's no problem, it's cured, go away. The other can give corticosteroid, for example, to soften the scar. And maybe one can give some medicine for whatever reason it is. But you have to determine what the diagnosis is before you treat a patient. But there is always a reason why patients are consulting you. So if you see this, you have first think not what in fact the scar is or the wound is, but why he come to you. Maybe it's bothering, maybe there is something somehow what a function he cannot do, because the location of the wound is in a nearby of tendons, vessels, nerves, and that is the basic of all the academic thinking is why. So, if the second condition, if you see this, then you can ask by yourself, what is happening here? Because you know, and I can assure you that a wound is the oldest medical case or condition in the history of mankind. Usually, it's caused by injury due to hunting and fighting in order to survive. But in order to hunt and survive, you have to be fit. Those are fit people. And in order to heal, there is a basic condition that nowadays are disturbed. First of all, you must ask, why does this wound not heal? Instead of direct giving antibiotics. Because we all know that antibiotics has side effects. Direct side effects like allergic, long-term effects as resistance. And that is the question. What is the problem here? So maybe the antibiotic is not the only solution, and maybe the stitches are not the only solution. Nowadays, it is not very obvious that simple things will heal like this. Why? Because we have created in past decades an environment that is hostile to us. And we do it by ourselves. Think about smoking, for instance. Think about overweight, obesitas. There's the only species in the earth that is affected by obesitas. Think by heart condition due to atherosclerosis. There are many examples for it. But those examples is a warning, and we can learn about it because we can prevent it. It's preventable. So, the natural history is very important. And because I'm a surgeon, I'm a medicant, I always teach my students learning medicine is not learning how to prescribe medicine and to operate, but learn first what is the way of the natural behavior from the problem. You have to know exactly how things normally used to go before you can determine what is wrong. If somebody come to you with a wound which is bleeding, fresh, for help, and it is 1 week old, and he has no comorbidity, no diabetic, cancer, and so on, and he didn't use medicine, it's corticosteroids, anti-inflammatory, then you know that these wounds, without any intervention, would heal by itself. You can simply wait 1 week, because usually in 2 weeks it is cured. When this patient comes after 2 weeks with this problem, you might ask yourself why it is not cured. How is the vascularity? Is there any edema? Is there any comorbidity? That is the way you have to think. And then, only then, you can come to a good conclusion and a good treatment. We all have experience in that field, and that is just a simple example how you have to think. It is easier for me to talk to an audience who is specialized. It is very interesting in this era of digitalization to speak about algorithms who lead to diagnosis. Using robots to help you operate, using artificial intelligence, using 3D printing for making prostheses, MRI, CT. We have hybrid operation rooms, using lasers. It sounds very interesting and very sexy, but you have to think, who will benefit of it? And is it all evidence-based? Is it cost-effective? What are the side effects? What are the collateral damages? Beware of industry and money-driven motives. Ladies and gentlemen, you must learn to control it. And to able to do so, you have to understand all the related processes. Only then you can make the wise decision and be in control of it. That is my belief, what university education stands for. And everybody, speaking of the medicine field where I'm working, everybody should have the right to access and get the best medical care available. No exception. It's a right from mankind. And we all, and governments, have the obligation to care and secure it. Dear audience, I came to an end of my talk, and my take-home message to you are, you can read with me, never take anything for granted. Be curious and passionate and take wise decisions. Learn to understand, control and develop your processes. Learn to use modern tools available and collaborate. Write it down on paper, publish it, and share your knowledge with each other. And most important is prevention, learning from the past. Prevention is the cheapest and safest way of treatment. Ladies and gentlemen, with this, I will congratulate the BTH with his first DS. You're just born. But for living, you have to be born first. And I wish you very luck, and I congratulate you with this DS and wish you all the Universitas UBTH a prosper and bright future. And there, where you think I can contribute, I would really glad to do so. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to Mr. Paul who will deliver about the material with the topic with academic way of thinking. Okay, so now we will open a discussion, question and answer. Mungkin Bapak Ibu ada yang bertanya, silahkan boleh menggunakan bahasa Indonesia tentang materi yang sudah Pak Paul jelaskan tadi. Begitu ya Pak ya? Baik, silahkan Bapak Ibu, barangkali ada yang mau bertanya mengenai kuliah pakar ini dengan tema academic way of thinking. Thank you so much Mr. Paul to deliver the material about academic way of thinking. It's really nice and interesting topics about the thinking of academic way. I think it's concerned about surgeon, right? Okay, so this is time to our discussion. I will open about question and answer. So please raise your hand if you have any question and mentioning your name. Silakan, Bapak Ibu, barangkali ada yang mau ditanyakan. Ya, sudah ada penanya pertama. Sudah ada yang bertanya, Pak. Iya. Silakan sebutkan namanya, Pak, dan pertanyaannya apa?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, good morning everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. So that was a great presentation. I'd like to say thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for this beautiful presentation. Even though we couldn't meet in real life like this, we only meet virtually like this, but I'd like to send my gratitude for being here, joining with us in this room. And in regard to your presentation, well, personally, I'd like to ask you with 2 questions. But before that, allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Ferry Anugraha, and I'm one of the lecturer from the newest major, which is entrepreneurship. As you know, UBTH University now is ready to transform, so we have more than one, not only focus on health, but also we focus on technology and business. And I'm in the newest major. So the first thing that I'd like to ask to you, Mr. Paul, as we know in this globalization era, as you know, this is characterized by the rapid fast of technology. And due to this situation, what did maybe you ever heard about AI or artificial intelligence? In your humble opinion, I'd like to ask you, this kind of new inventions, which is AI, would it be a big support for us and academic staff, or it would be a big threat? That's the first question. And for the second question, I'd like to ask, as we know that UBTH University is trying to be more open, like ready to face any global challenge. So, in your humble opinion, for the second question, what do you think, especially for the newest major, like some of the major here in UBTH University, if we want to improve our human resources and also our facility in UBTH University, what should we think first? What should we focus in the first progress toward our vision, which is bersaing ya, berdaya saing global, or globally be a globally competition, ready to face global competition. That is going to be my second question, and that's all from me. Thank you very much for your time and so for your consideration. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Well, terima kasih banyak buat pertanyaan ini. They are very
Oke, langsung dijawab.
Pardon?
Oke,
Boleh?
ya, baik silakan.
Okay. Once again, thank you for your question. They are very interesting questions, and that's really no one solution for it. The first about IT. Yeah, artificial intelligence. I believe. With all new technology, you have to understand first how it will be give benefit, because technology has 2 sides. We already know it can help and it can do harm, but the one who will decide this is the person who use it. It is not the technology by itself, but it is the person who will use that technology. There are many examples of that. So, if we can manage that the people who are developing and using those technology are good people, they will be helpful for us, I'm sure. But once again, beware of the dangers of it. And the dangers are very big. Look at what happened with the COVID pandemic. The development in genetics are very helpful in the medical field. And hopefully in the future they can use the modification of viruses and so on for treatment, for cancer treatment. But look, if you are not willing to do the protection as it should be, like in the nuclear reactors, you can have a big problem. And what is happening here, maybe nobody knows, and what is happening. That virus has lost from one of, laboratorium. That could be escape. So there is the effect of the danger, and it is the responsibility of us, academician and researchers to deal with it. So the answer from the artificial intelligence, would it be helpful? It's just like that. It is depends on the person who is behind it. I hope you can use this answer. I hope that this answer is useful to you. Are you satisfied with this answer? Hello?
Okay, pardon me. Can you repeat the sentence,
Yeah.
please?
I will ask who asked the question of he is this answer satisfies him.
Yes, sir. Quite satisfied. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for asking, by the way.
The
Okay.
second question I think it's about the competition.
Yeah, it's about competitions in Kuliah.
Yeah. The more competition, the better, I think. It's my belief. Because without the competition, there is no progress. And like the weather condition, if you have no difference in lower pressure and high pressure, there be no wind. So some competition is good, but too much competition, on the other hand, is dangerous. Too much competition will lead to stress, and stress will lead to a cascade of unhealthy things. So it's about balance, but yes, competition is good. That is my belief. So the more you open, the more you get the chance to meet other people, and and you can measure your skills to them. That is what my belief. Maybe Mr. Who will ask will comment on that.
Okay, Mr. Paul, in regard to your answer, well, you were saying that competition is really needed in this kind of academic field, but what do you think? Do we have to focus more on competition, or do we have to establish more collaboration? Which one do you think is the better one? Thank you.
Well, in my opinion, the collaborate is far more favorable. Why? Because in the collaboration, there is also some competition, but in more a friendly way, let's say. So you have two aspects of that in it. So if you have to choose, I will is collaboration is preferable.
That's the answer.
That's the answer.
Okay. How about the questioner, Mr. Ferian? Is that enough for the answer?
Yes, enough. Thank you very much, Mr. Paul.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer, Mr. Paul. Okay, we will open for the second question. Maybe you have the question to Mr. Paul about this question. Okay, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul. My name is Ihsan Kuliah. I'm from Department of Entrepreneurship. Same with previous question here. Okay, my question is more philosophical because I know that which I know in Netherlands is spot to meet cross-cultural and intellectual tradition. So I think, and we are academician in Indonesia, adapted or imported many intellectual traditions, yeah, scientific traditions from European, especially from Netherlands. And I think you are one of expert or academician in Netherlands. I think we need to learn much from you. My first question is, what is the new tradition in Netherlands? Is there any intellectual tradition, the newest tradition? Because which I know the development of the tradition in intellectual tradition, yeah, it's development from positivism and then neo-positivism, and then the newest is postmodernism. Yeah? And I think in Netherlands, very, very developed the tradition. So my question is, what is the new tradition of intellectual thinking, yeah, or new paradigm? What is the newest paradigm today in which developed in Europe and especially in Netherlands? And then the second question is something we are as academician face as, you know, too theoretical. We are too theoretical and we are not down to earth. I think as academician we have to give contributions to the society. And what is your opinion about this? How to be an academician which is more down to earth? So we have many contributions. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the questions from Mr. Ihsan from Business and Technology Faculty. You want to answer now?
Also very good questions.
Yes, sir.
Very interesting. Thank you for questioning. What is going on in the Netherlands and Europe and most of the time in the developing countries? It is so that it seems like that, and we used to do that we are aware of what we have done in the last centuries. Think about global warming, for example. Think about health issues, lifestyles. And it seems that we come to a point that we will aware that if we keep on going that way, we will damage ourselves. And so the development is in the big way focused on that matters. How we can correct what we have self done and how we can do better. And that is what saya bilang ini, that is the awareness, that is the understanding, that is the knowing from what we are doing. Because let's something quite simple. It is a very comfortable to drive a car or use a motorbike instead from walking. Here in the hotel where I stay, there is a mall nearly 50-meter away. And there is a bus shuttle for that 50 meter. You know what effect is for the body to take the shuttle instead of walking. And walking is so much healthier, and in another time I could show you why. It's cheaper, healthier, cheaper, because there's no pollution from the vehicle at all, and it do better. There little things. I see in, for example, I've been a few days ago in Monash, the University of Melbourne, and there that is forbidden to go to the university campus with automobiles. You have to take your feet to walk, and the train. And that are small things what we are now doing. That is one. This development is to understand what we have done, and we have done harm, and to correct it. And the second question is about.
It's about
can you
your
repeat?
opinion. Yeah, it's about your opinion to be academician.
Oh yeah, down to earth, is it? Yeah. Yeah. It is not the task of a scientist to be down to earth, because that's break for development. If you are a scientist and you develop, you're exploring and develop things, you have not to be, rem, tidak boleh kerem, harus bebas dengan investigatingnya. De toepassing, wat is toepassing? Pelaksanaan yang didapat itu, that is the task of the government, and that is very important. You know. Can you do a word with my answer?
Is that enough for the answer, Mr. Isan?
In my opinion, I have one sentence. Science is not for science, but science is for human. Do you agree with my sentence?
Can you give your opinion about his sentence?
Of course, but that is the toepassing. Wat is toepassing? Dat is de pelaksanaannya. And that is the task of the government. Want you know, people, you never know what an investigation and development leads to. If you are yeah, if you are determined before, it will um, disturb the thinking. If Albert Einstein in those days may not of always must be do thinking of the humankind, he never came to that theory. The theory is good. We can do a lot of things with it, but we can also do a lot of harm. But it is after that process, the creativity of thinking must be free and not be limited. In my opinion, in my humble opinion.
Okay, that's about Mr. Paul's opinions about your questions. Science for science, but science for human. Okay. Maybe we will open the last questions. Third question, maybe you have to raise your hand if you have any question, please. Oke, kita akan buka pertanyaan terakhir mungkin ya untuk pertanyaan ketiga. Silakan untuk acungkan tangan dan mentioning your name. Oke, silakan. Ibu-ibunya barangkali. Is there any questions about theme of academic way of thinking? Yeah. Nothing? Nothing? Okay. If nothing, question again. Maybe Mr. Paul, can I give you a simple question?
Of course.
Okay. Is this the last question? Yeah? Pak Sony? Ya, silakan. Yeah, there's question from Mr. Sony.
Terima kasih. Selamat siang, Mr. Paul. Supaya
Selamat
mengingat lagi Indonesia, mengingat di Purwokerto, ya Sony pakai bahasa Indonesia saja.
Ya.
Terima kasih sebelumnya. Mr. Paul, tadi saya menyimak pembedahan pada jaringan parut ya, keloid. Ya. Keloid. Apakah benar keloid itu, Pak?
Oh, keloid.
Iya, keloid. Iya.
Ya.
Pembedahan keloid ya. Saat ini banyak juga di media ataupun di online obat untuk keloid tersebut. Ada yang disuntikan, ada juga yang ditetes atau dioles. Bagaimana menurut Profesor untuk pengobatan keloid tersebut? Terima kasih. Ya, tanpa operasi, non surgical.
Ya. Ini
That's the
pertanyaan
question.
yang paling bagus. Sebab di negeri Belanda itu juga ada isunya. You know that everybody in the Netherlands has an insurance of from the government or whatsoever. That insurance would give access to treatment if the condition is affecting the health. In my time, it was not done if a scar would be treated. But these days, with the era of media and so on, there is understandable that there are some people whatsoever who have problems with scar. You know, if you have a scar who is overlapping the joint, it's obvious that it will disturb the function and you have to do what? But if you have the scar and you feel it's ugly is very personal. You can discuss which one is the one you ensure of found under is so. What I mean to say is there is cosmetic reasons, there is a somatic reason, a functional reasons, and there is a psychological reasons in that scar. So of course, you can treat that scar, and my colleagues of plastic surgeon are treating that too. But the question is, who has to pay it? Will the government spend money on it by the insurance of those things? So they make a difference between vital and not vital. And the not vital personal problems, they say, you people, you can do that, but you have to pay it by yourself. And the other hand, they will pay it for you. That is what in the Netherlands the case is. How is it here?
Okay, that's the answer about Mr.
Yeah.
Sonny's question.
But I asked as a question, how is it here?
Okay, thank you very much.
Mana?
Yeah, okay. Maybe I cancel my question because we have a limitations of time. So we have completed our 3 questions for you now in this question and answer session. I think, ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Paul, of course, this is the end of question and answer session or Q&A. Thanks to the audience that have participated actively in this event. But before we close this event, let me to give you a virtual certificate. Yeah, this is a virtual certificate for you because you have participated for our great speaker in this expert lecture, public speaking in academic way of thinking. Thank you very much. Can you see the certificate, Mr. Sir?
I see the certificate, and I'm deeply honored with it, and I expected no such a thing. The only thing I wish is that I could contribute to the development of your university, U-BTH.
Okay, thank you very much.
If you need something you have, let me know via Pak Yoris. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for saying birthday for our first university. And this is your certificate because you have to participate to be our speaker today. And I hope it will be useful for someday. And someday, I hope we can meet you directly in Tasikmalaya.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. See you soon and get healthy. Giving applause for our speaker, Mr. Paul Lekwilung. Thank you very much, Mr. Paul Lekwilung. Okay, finally, we get to the last session that is closing. Let's say Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Thanks to all the audience that have participated in this event today. And I say thanks to tamu undangan Dr. Polar Silumi SPOG dari ID Kota Tasikmalaya. Kemudian terima kasih juga kepada Puskesmas Sambong Sari yang telah hadir di Zoom pada hari ini. Terima kasih kepada Puskesmas Cilembang. Terima kasih kepada Puskesmas Bantar Kota Tasikmalaya. Terima kasih kepada Puskesmas Ciberem. Dan terima kasih kepada semua peserta yang hadir di Zoom. Sebanyak 287 peserta yang terdiri dari mahasiswa dan juga tamu undangan. And I say thank you very much, and I become a Master of Ceremony again. Thanks to Rector of Bakti Trisasada University. Thanks to Chairman and Chairwoman of Bakti Trisasada Foundation. And I say thanks to all the audience, my beloved audience. And I'm sorry if I have a mistake today. Once again, I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Till meet again.
Saya mengucapkan selamat Dies Natalis yang pertama untuk Universitas Bakti Tunas Husada. Peringatan Dies Natalis ini perlu dijadikan momentum untuk menguatkan semangat bertransformasi yang mendasari perubahan STIK S Bakti Tunas Husada menjadi universitas. Dengan perubahan ini, UBTH memiliki kesempatan yang lebih besar untuk berkembang lebih maju untuk melahirkan lulusan di bidang kesehatan yang profesional dan siap berkontribusi. Inilah saat yang tepat untuk semakin mengakselerasi perkembangan UBTH dengan menerapkan kebijakan Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka yang telah dirasakan manfaatnya oleh ratusan ribu mahasiswa dari seluruh Indonesia. Sukses selalu untuk UBTH, mari terus bertransformasi dan berinovasi dengan Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Eka Herlina, Ketua DPC Patriarki Pakar Tasikmalaya mengucapkan selamat Dies Natalis yang pertama untuk Universitas Bakti Tunas Husada. Semoga menjadi universitas yang unggul dan berkualitas. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Tita Nopianti, saya dari Antalya, Turki mengucapkan selamat ulang tahun untuk Universitas BCLH yang ke-1. Sukses, berkah, dan jaya selalu.